this is Sophia the Saddle Hunter, and today I'm going to be reviewing the book A True Story of Music and Love in Nazi Germany, The Inextinguishable Symphony by Martin Goldsmith. I enjoyed this book. I highly recommend it. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Now, when I first picked up this book and I bought this book, I probably only bought this book about a year ago. Actually, I think it was a little less than a year ago. I thought that this was going to be about the Inextinguishable Symphony at Auschwitz, and it was not. It was still about a symphony, about love story and music in World War II in Nazi Germany, and I really enjoyed it. It was a wonderful book, very detailed, well written, very heartwarming and life-changing, and this was just an incredible story. This person who wrote this, he's a son, and he's telling his parents' story about how they met, how they fell in love, and how they survived the war, and how it affected him and his family for the rest of his life. He had a hard time reconciling, that he was Jewish and he wasn't raised, obviously, in the Jewish faith, but it still, affected him. But they couldn't really say, yes, I'm Jewish anymore for fear of probably being persecuted or hated or made fun of, which is just terrible. So, this book was about something called the Jewish Culture Band, or Jewish Culture Association. And Joseph Goebbels, the Reich Minister propagandist, decided to come up with this thing. Since all the Jews could not perform music or teach or put on plays anymore, they couldn't go to them, we're going to give them their own. And they did this to act like, they were trying to preserve their life and their memory, and obviously that's not what they're going to do. And so after several years of doing this, in September, they said they're going to close it down. And so as soon as they closed it down, they did their last performance, and they went on the run for their lives for protection and to stay alive. And it talked about everyone being on the ship, I can't remember the name of it, about the ship that it was on, and how they were trying to send it back to Germany, and they did not, the captain did not want to do that, and he helped save the Jews' lives by letting people take a couple hundred refugees here and there. And so some people did go close to Germany, but I don't think any of them went back to actually Germany. Lots of them went to America or New York, so they were able to keep themselves alive. And so something that Germany did, because they're like, we're going to get rid of the Jews, and we're going to make it sound like we're being nice to them, like they did with the Jewish Culture Band. We're going to, they're going to pay 600 in German money back then for each person to board the ship to take them to America to freedom. And so they did this also. This was earlier on in the war, before people couldn't get passports, and the Jews couldn't get passports. And I'm guessing it was also probably before Kristallnacht, because that all started because some Jewish people were trying, family were trying to get passports, and it didn't go well, and someone get killed, and then Kristallnacht happened, the Night of Broken Glass, and the Holocaust came after that. It was all kind of an effect. It was a like a Jenga block of things happening in order. And if Kristallnacht never happened, the Holocaust might have not happened. And that's just so mind-boggling for me to think of, because I know there could have been other things that could have been done to stop it, but people had fuel, and they wanted to fire, and they wanted to burn their light and burn their anger and their hate. And they already had someone to do it. They already had some people aim for it, the Jewish race and people who are different from them. And they're like, we're going to use this, and we're going to run with it, and they did. And I wish more people would have tried to stop it, and hopefully it won't happen again in the future. But this was a wonderful, entertaining book. I had a hard time putting it down. It was very easy to get into. So, growing Martin Goldsmith, which is he was the third child in his family, so he's like the middle child. His family did not talk about much, I don't think, about the fact that they were Jewish, about what they went through there in Nazi Germany during the Third Reich, and German occupation and all that. And one day when the Holocaust Museum in DC was opening up, to which I need to go there and it's on my bucket list, like, why don't we go tour together? And that was like the breaking point of, you know, obviously it was very emotional, hard for him to walk in through there and see all of his shoes and eyeglasses and the clothes and the suitcases of his people that lost their lives this way. And, you know, thankfully he was spared, but obviously not all of his family was spared. He lost a brother and I think his parents as well. But, and then that kind of brought it to light in the sons that brought in this book. And it's just so sad that some people, you know, and they had the right to do this, to hold back their stories. But I'm so grateful that people haven't, because we would not know what happened. And there hasn't been all these stories made and books written, people wouldn't know it really happened, and it could happen again, and it could still happen again. But at least we have evidence to show what really happened, that maybe it won't happen again in the future. And it's also very humbling and hard for me because I am Jewish. I got Jewish on both sides of my family, and I wonder if I had anyone who was in a concentration camp or died or sent to the gas chambers or shot by a Nazi or a guard or just someone who hated the race and people that were different. And that's one reason why I've taken so strongly to this, besides it being wrong. And I believe that we're all made in God's image, and everyone is a human being. Everyone has a worth and things that they need to do and accomplish, and we all are made and created by the same person, and because of that, we are all family, and we need to be nice to each other. And even if we're different, we need to accept the differences. But, you know, there's several things that we all have in common, and we need to use those to stick together instead of being blown apart and causing wars and genocides and Holocaust again. So this was a wonderful book. I really enjoyed it. I read it pretty quickly, and I wouldn't say I read it too quickly, because I read like 114 pages yesterday. I was going to try to finish the day before, and I didn't. I read a lot that day, so I kind of got the last 2 days. But basically, it was just talking about the day-by-days of their practicing music and learning to play and putting on the thing and growing up with when all the Nuremberg laws went down and all the things they lost and having to turn all their things, and even having to turn in their instruments, which is terrible. And one last thing about the book, his mother, before he was his mother, she was at a school in Germany, and the teacher had a Jewish wife, and so he had to go into hiding, and so he said, I have to let you go from the school without your certificate. And that like broke my heart. I couldn't mind someone spending their whole life practicing music and they don't get their certificate. That is just terrible. But I mean, at least she survived. But it's just terrible to see what people do because of skin color or race or ethnicity or learning problems or even just health problems. People should not be treated differently because of that. I hope you guys like this video, and I'll see you guys next time in another one. Goodbye!